everyone. This is Paola Guthrie from Creating Purpose with Pal, and I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and Heart Network on Single TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the app. It's totally free. You can find Single TV in Google Chromecast and Amazon Fire, Fire TV Stick, Roku Stick, and all smart TVs from 2016 and forward. Hello, everyone. Today in the house, we have an awesome woman today that she's about to guide us into a leadership subject. So her name is Maya Schmid. She is a visionary. She is an entrepreneur. She's an expert in organization transformation with over 25 years of experience in corporate world, and she offers consulting service now. And I welcome her, and I give you so much gratitude for being here today.
Well, very excited to be here with all of you and with you, Paola. It's such an honor to be here because we are in moments of transformation, be it in professional lives, be it in personal lives, and and it's my mission to really bring all this experience, all these learnings back to the world. So they can save some time.
Well, thank you for your time, and please, tell us a little bit about you, your experience. Where have you been? Where have you collected all this beautiful experience?
Okay, so first of all, I'm Swiss born. And I am Swiss, but I grew up in Colombia, in Cali, Colombia. So Colombian heart and Mexican by destiny, because I've been here for the past 24 years, almost 25 years. And I didn't start actually in CPG, in consumer goods. I started my career, my professional life in hotel management. So I've always loved people, and I always was there to solve problems, to structured and unstructured. But through my when I did my MBA, I changed into consumer goods, into marketing, and for some reason, the world has brought me to structured and unstructured of companies like Coca-Cola, like CPC that became Best Foods and then Unilever Foods, Diageo, and it's been a great journey. I'm really grateful for all that. And what I've learned out of there, I was in marketing, but always on the innovation side. And what really caught me there was understanding people, consumers, shoppers, clients. That was my passion, and it's always been my passion. But through the years, I left. After 25 years, I left corporate to become a consultant, an entrepreneur. And I have to tell you, I pivoted because it was my natural way to continue with consulting on marketing, on business development, and innovation. So I continued that. But soon thereafter, my coach said, Maya, you have to free up this time. You will get certified as a Berkman coach, which is like Myers-Briggs, like Hogan, it's assessments and all that. And I understood, while I'm getting my certification, I really understood why she insisted so much. Because with the Berkman method, I became aware of my ultimate passion, which is people development. And that's how, a lot of things came together. So I started into organizational development, giving coaching to executives, giving a learning, consulting new expats that were coming into Mexico to understand the social cultural part so they could be successful more faster. And I really enjoyed it, but there was still something missing. So while the pandemic, I started, even though I always did that as an organizational transformations, I certified myself at MIT with leading organizational change, at Wharton too, executive at Columbia University. And finally found my angle, which is my complete passion, which basically is to help leaders thrive through change in a successful way. And I really focus on the people because only 30% of all change initiatives are successful implementing change in a timely manner. And so I went into addicting to really find out what was the real cause. Why didn't it happen? Where can I add value? Where can I help? Because I did it for 25 years. I always was the change agent. I was that person that brought, I was 90% of people resist change. And I'm one of those 10% that don't resist change. But I had to face them. I had to face their rejections, their resistance, their obstacles to real, because my role was to create new business units, to create new business models, to bring culture mindset changes into the organizations. So I had to really do something. I really had to know how to overcome those. So really reflecting back with all that experience and all those learnings that I accumulated throughout the times, with investments of classes, with looking at role models, I created a 6-pillar system.
Okay.
That is really the key to success. And you don't know what it is, but imagine if organizations need to change and people resist change, quite opposite things. We need, and change equals uncertainties, and people want certainty in their life because it's their basic need. After thirst, after food, after shelter comes security, which is equal to certainty. So it's a basic need.
Yes.
So the key to success is creating a certain environment within the workplace.
Do you agree? Now that you're saying this, it's like I love Simon Sinek. And one of his advice is whenever you're going to bring your corporation for training, he says, bring only a few. Because the few that will get trained and bathe into this training and the transformation, ready to really create a change, are going to go back, and then they're going to, I'm going to say, positively contaminate others by saying, hey, guess what I learned? Hey, guess what I learned? And create that curiosity, I would say. And then those coworkers will look at this new model of what would be the right word, of this employee that is injected with so much goodness
Yeah.
and energy and capability after the training, they would want to go do the same
Yes.
thing. And he said, and you do it just a few at a time in order to
Exactly.
create a big change. Are we
Yes, we are aligned.
okay? Okay.
It is completely aligned. It's
Okay.
actually what we need is, so people might think, okay, Maya, yeah, creating a certain environment, but certainty comes within individuals. When a leader is certain, he can pull the whole team behind him. And I do an analogy. Besides, I'm passionate about human behavior and all that, everything what's about human. I do show jumping with horses. And my analogy is, they are majestic creatures, very powerful creatures. But if you don't lead them, they won't jump. You can come into a perfect distance, and if you are doubtful, they'll feel it and they won't jump. But if you come with all certainty within you, they will go from far, from in, almost a jump, and they will jump into the unknown. So it's exactly the same in corporations, in organizations, when they want to lead change. If the leader is certain, and certainty comes within you, you can pull the whole team with you, and they will trust you. They will believe in you, and the adoption rates will be much faster.
How does one leader like that become certain? How do they build that certainty?
They build that certainty in first, it's a deep self-awareness work. It's knowing themselves. And we start, that 6-pillar system, we start with, it's a training. Actually, I train 5 to 10 people so they can take it on to their areas, and we start with mindset. You don't sell mindset, but it is so important. 80% of success comes from mindset, from that mindset shift. So what does that mean? We need to make an analysis from where we are to where we want to go to. And then we need to find what are our empowering beliefs, but most importantly, our limiting beliefs. So when we do that analysis and we know where we want to go with the belief system, we need to start seeing why, and do some cleaning of those limiting beliefs, because generally the limiting beliefs are based on stories that we have told ourselves, and we believe them to be true, and we've made decisions, and that has shaped our destiny the whole life.
Yeah.
So I have here another example from my limiting belief. 25 years of experience in corporate world, doing changes, and changes from all sorts. So when I got out of corporate world, I did pivot between different consultings and different services, and everything stacked. But I didn't believe that I had enough experience to be a consultant until I unleashed it. And now I'm here to serve organizations because I want them, even though I love corporate world, it was sometimes suffering. And I don't want that to happen to the people that are going through change.
And you know what the beautiful thing about learning about like those trainings that you give to these employees is that they get to bring it home. And then they
Exactly.
get to enjoy the workplace, the family workplace, and they also get to build the beauty within their families. And I think that right there is a true blessing that people like you get to do, that sometimes they might not be able to get a training somewhere else in their everyday life. If we are not aware of self-development trainings, there is no way that family will change.
Yeah.
Unless, like at that level. You know what I mean? It's like at the deep level where you're like, oh wow, It's like I'm capable of leading my team. I'm capable of working with my team. I'm capable of be accountable. I'm capable to be competent. And then that beauty, what I love about it is that they get to bring it home, and then
Exactly.
it's no longer suffering on one way or another. It's like you get to have both worlds as being a blessing in your life. And that's like, I
Exactly.
really like, I love it.
Well, yeah, that is my real purpose, actually, because, well, I'm a single mom of two beautiful daughters. And sometimes I did get home, frustrated, intolerant, and all that. And I just don't want that to happen to many families anymore. Now I have a beautiful relationship with my girls, but if I look back, it's just something that, yes, and it's more productive. If, I started with mindset, then we go into purpose, which is really important to align your purpose with the company's purpose and see where we match and how we can match. And then we go into self awareness and team awareness. And what that is so important is we learn to not only the behaviors that are seen, but we also get to know the need behind it. So, for example, one of the components that we measure, it's the Berkman. I use here the Berkman method, and is how do you communicate with your close team members and your loved ones? So I communicate pretty directly. So people might think that they need to communicate to me directly. But guess what? My need is to be communicated a little bit more diplomatically. So I live, I don't know that, I can't communicate it. And I live always in a stress behavior because my need is not fulfilled. So when we know this about us and about our teams, we can really bring out the best version out of it. And that exactly what you said can transcend into the work, from work into the home, and overall bring a better version of us into the world, and that's basically what I want, because then we can unleash the whole potential of people. And
Yes.
yeah.
And whenever you learn, like you said, the mindset, that when there is a mindset shift, when you learn to know yourself, what I have found out, like from myself, is like the more I get to know me, the less selfish I become, and I want to help others.
Yeah.
It does. I know a lot of people talk bad about self development. They said, that it's all about me, 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 me. What about the others? What I've truly experienced is like the more you get to know you, the better you get attached, and you just want to serve. You want to like truly, truly serve whenever you become to find that ugliness within you. Like if I answer back at my mom here lately, it's a true story. She's visiting, and for some reason, we had a conversation, and the ugly side within me got out, and I was like, I question it. Why did that happen? And I analyzed, and I found the root, which what I think is the root. And when I found that root, and I was able to, you know, do a little bit of healing, like just shifting my mindset, feeling that love, feeling that compassion for myself instead of feeling guilty. I'm still dealing with it. I'm like, wow, it's like it just it I don't know how to explain it, but it allowed me to want to serve more, to help others that maybe are dealing with that pain, but they don't know it there. Because I don't want the ugly side to be expressed. I want the ugly side to be loved. So they don't have to be expressed in a bad way. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's like, and now that you're talking about mindset, you teach them about the mindset, you teach them about how they get to know themselves.
Right.
It it has to be done. It had to be done for me in order for me to feel that need to serve, to love even more, to be grateful at a higher level.
Definitely. Definitely. There is McConaughey. He says to be selfish, to become selflessness. Because when you work on yourself, then you can be your true self, and and it's all about giving back, because that is the beauty of us. I mean, and everyone can do this. This is not someone, I mean, it's just we are all beautiful creatures
Yeah.
that sometimes our experiences have put us in a how do you say,
In
in
a
a
cookie cutter
yeah, exactly,
mold. And
exactly.
Maya, I discovered this because I noticed myself going from, okay, I got angry, I didn't like that, so from angry I went to guilt, and I felt guilty because I answered back to my mom, and I know I made her feel bad. But then I told myself I don't want to be in guilt. And a lot, if I did not have this like this gift of you having you here and learning from self-development books, and yeah, of course going to church as well, uh I, I wouldn't question myself and be like, okay, then let's go to another level. Like I don't want guilt either. I want love. I want to be grateful, and I want to be the expression of that. And
Exactly.
it only happens by working through those moments of ugliness. I express ugliness. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it. I'm working, like I realized that though. So to me, it's one of my latest aha moments that I had, that I wonder if before I stayed on on a level of guilt, and I thought it was normal.
Yeah, and it's, the beauty of this, and it's real blessing, is that awareness makes you move forward, and yes, I mean, we have limiting beliefs, and they will pop up, they will continue even though we work on them, but then you can stop them and shift into a beautiful state, back into a beautiful state, because whenever those limiting beliefs pop up, you can say to yourself, is it really true? No, it's not true. What, based on what? And then that allows us to kind of jump into back into a beautiful state, and be able to advance towards it. And that's part of growth. I mean, we have a lot, everybody feels imposter syndrome, everybody at some stage in their lives, at some, in any circumstance. But actually, when we feel imposter syndrome, it's good, because we are growing, because we become aware of that. And you know what I discovered with all this process of reflection, and putting together the six key pillar system to create that certain environment, was I forgave all my bosses that were horrible to me, because behind those ego flourishments was actually fear. And that fear was fear of loss of the job, fear of losing power, fear of not being relevant. I mean, we are humans that feel, the fear is what sometimes gets us the bad, our egos. And we are humans.
Yeah. Tell us
And
about. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, tell us about the levels of leadership now that we're talking about this, because I believe that's where we start. It starts with oneself leading us
Ourselves.
before we can begin to inspire others.
Yeah, I mean, at the center of it is consciousness, it's awareness. And it's, we all have the important thing is to recognize them. And, we are not perfect leaders. We are not, I mean, we need to learn. If we have awareness, then we can come into certainty, and then we can lead the others. And it's more as an inspiration. It's not on authority. You don't become a leader being authoritarian. That's manager stuff. That's not leading. Leading, you want to have leader. You become a leader of leaders. And every single one is actually a leader within their own territory. And that's how I define. There is not really levels. I mean, there is always one that needs to take the anchor, the leading role. But in every single person that is in an organization, there needs to be a leader. And we need to recognize them as leaders. And it's collaborators. They are all collaborators, because I always thought, and that's how I led, that everyone, I did freeze, I think. But
You're good. We can. We're the audio is still going.
Okay, good. Is that everyone is part of a bigger brain, and that's why purpose is so important. Because if we all work with one purpose, then it doesn't matter all the certainties that come to us, and we can continue contributing, each of one of us, to that purpose. So my type of leadership, or the levels of leadership, is everyone can be in the process.
Oh, maybe we lost her. You said everyone can be in the process. Maya, can you hear me? Maya will be coming back here in just a little bit. We're talking about leadership. She has more than 25 years of experience in the corporate world. Maya has beautiful experience in teaching and training. She's a consultant. She has created her own course. She travels around the world training other people. She has a multicultural background. She lived in Colombia. She's in Mexico right now. So she speaks, that I know of, English and Spanish. And she is here to talk to us about leadership, to guide us. Uh, I would love for all of you who are here. Leadership is not just about the corporate world. It's not only about the workplace. Leadership begins within us. Leadership happens within our family. When we plan these strategies that she's sharing with us in the family, then you will begin to see a stronger bond with the spouse, with your children. If you begin to guide them with the similar principles, you you will be leading a beautiful team in your family. And whenever we implement that strategy, these techniques, your kids are watching, because they follow our behavior. Kids they won't do what we say, but they will do what they watch us, that we do. So that's one of my biggest takeaway, I think, from leadership. It's applying it in my home, teaching my kids about being accountable and being competent. It's one of the two main conversations that we have when things go south. When they don't do what they're supposed to do, we'll sit down and we have a conversation, and we talk about that we are a team, that we are required to be competent, that we are required to be accountable, in order for home, to work. Hello, Maya. Welcome back.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
You are
Technology.
great. Yes, you are great. I was telling our beautiful audience that leadership concept is not only for corporate world, is not only for the workplace, but if we've learned to implement it in the home, in the family, just imagine how strong that team would be at home.
Oh, definitely. It's a beautiful analogy, and every, as I said, every single person in corporate at home is a leader of their own lives.
Yes.
And I just got at the last part of your conversation about being accountable, being a team member, collaborator, being a communicator. Those are the skills of a leader, and really inspiring and making being your best version and making the others, creating that atmosphere so others can also emerge in their best version. And that's, for me, leadership has a lot to do with creating trust and being trustworthy.
Oh, yes, trustworthy.
Yes, it has a lot, a credible. If you are credible, you can achieve a lot of things and inspire others. And also be open to listen, empathetic listening. Oh my God, that is such a virtue. And not only
Speak,
listening, but getting into the feeling of others, really understanding.
give us an example of how to guide with empathy. Like how, like when you think things are not going the way they're supposed to go, how do we have the, come to Jesus meeting with a lot of empathy and really learn to redirect, uh, instead of feeling the anxiety, probably because you feel the commitment to the purpose and maybe things are not going your way. So how what would be a few strategies that you could guide with us to redirect with empathy?
Well, an important thing is, first of all, listen out. What was behind that it didn't happen? Here in Mexico, one of the things that I struggled when I got first here, then I learned, was people felt so responsible that they would come and put a bombshell into you 2 minutes before 12. We had to deliver a project. Yes, you did the follow up. So everything is fine. Everything is fine. But 2 minutes before we had to deliver something, they would come up. Oh, it's not ready. You know, what do you do then? So it's just to sit down. What went wrong? Why did we come to this, even though we had follow-up meetings before? And really listening out and be able to talk transparently.
Okay.
Listen out, be a safe space, create a safe space so they can be really transparent. And from there, take actions to move forward.
Okay.
It might not be that you agree with everything what happened, but at least to understand and create that safe space so we have a good basis to go forward. And then have a very clear action plan to make things happen. This is the day to day in business. yeah, and to be the monster or saying, well, it doesn't serve anything. With my time, with my evolution, I've really come to terms to what is it really worth. The question I always ask is, how can I create positive energy in this turmoil? How is my energy invested the most productive way?
Okay.
I always go back to energy.
Our attitude. Uh, what would you say to those please overs, like the people pleasers? People pleasers. They know there is a leader within them, and they're in the process of developing that leadership, and the leader within them at a higher level, like being more they're developing the authority. Uh, and I'm not meaning the mean authority where they're going to tell them what to do, but the certainty that you're talking about. They're developing the certainty, but they're still kind of shaking whenever they want to be nice, but at the same time they want to approach the problem. Have you had any situations like that?
Well, I was a people pleaser. I was somehow a people pleaser. Why? Because I did most of the people that are people pleasers, they don't like conflict. They feel really uncomfortable with conflict. And what I would say is it's not about conflict. It's the way to bring about the tone and manner, how to bring about the situation. Because conflict is, there are a lot of people that hate conflict and they will evade conflict. And that's why they become pleasers. So, what I would say to all you pleasers is you have a point of view, believe in what you think is right, and bring it to the table because it's not equal to conflict. It's a limiting belief that if we might give our perspective, it might generate conflict. And it's not that way.
Thank you.
It's a
Because
different way of approaching.
it is true. It is true. It's like change the meaning. It's not really conflict. You're bringing it to to the attention. You're sharing your opinion.
Yeah, and you're bringing a different perspective.
Yeah.
And
With a good attitude.
exactly. And I mean it's about the tone and manner, how you bring it to about. I really like your perspective, but I really thought about this one. What do you think about this, for example? And then you can come into a conversation because what we really need in terms of leadership is a good communication, a transparent communication, a flowing communication, because that's when the best ideas get into action.
Yeah. And how do we build those connections, like really meaningful connections? I believe this world has become a little bit jaded, and just what I have witnessed, it's easier to generalize. I i work on that. I'm aware, I try to be aware. I was like, don't generalize, like, still have faith in people, like I choose to have faith. So like I catch myself as like, nope, you're generalizing. So how would you advise us to build those connections, like meaningful connections?
We live in an automated life, on an autopilot. You know what you can reach with a smile and saying hi to people? How are you? But not going past by and, oh, hi, and continuing. No, really looking in the eyes. There are very small things that you can do in a day's work, in a day's life. And saying hello, not just superficially, but really approaching hi and look in the eyes. And that's, taking time of going over to a colleague and saying, how you doing? Because we are on the autopilot. We wake up, We might, we have our routines, and we forget about the beauty of just having a small conversation with someone. And
That is
especially in our teams, we spent 6 hours there, 8 hours, 10 hours sometimes. In Latin America, even more, because we like to socialize a little bit more. in, you know, uh, and sometimes we spend a lot of time there. And yet going from one meeting to the other, well, why not making a habit of every day spending 10 minutes with someone and knowing how they are really, and when you need to build connections, I mean, when you're in a new job, for example, take the initiative. It's not, let's put it that way, in everything what I've just said, we need to have an intention behind. We have to do it intentionally until it becomes a habit. It's the intention to connect. It's the intention to know each other better. Because when we know each other better, we can create much better things in a team. Besides the self-awareness and the team awareness, but knowing a little bit, personal lives and professional lives have merged very much, especially because also hybrid work, remote work. It was actually one of the key things that happened during the pandemic, that people started to have more one-to-ones to connect. And now that we're going back to the offices, we don't do that as much. We're getting back to and it's really important to connect and build intentionally, initially, until it gets a habit.
that is beautiful. Yeah, have the intention to build those connections.
Yes, it's really, really important.
Now, going back to leading with empathy, do you have any strategies that you might use in your everyday life that would ground us at that moment of uncertainty, that would keep us like go back, help us go back to certainty?
Yeah, I think the active listening and listening through the grapevines, we need to listen a little bit more, not the superficial one, but also, so what do you mean? What do you mean by that? So going a little bit deeper so we can understand where their point of view is coming from.
Okay.
And then we can put all together and then have, because people feel that they might not be as relevant anymore or as valued. And empathy is the key to make them feel valued, important, interesting, and relevant. So it is I would say, one of the key competencies nowadays of leaders, to be empathetic.
Do you think the lack of empathy is what makes people decide to move to another office, to another company, to go out the door with no regrets?
Generally, why people leave, 70% is because of their bosses. It's because there is no great relationship, or because they haven't felt valued. And part of creating a certain environment is also to bring that certainty. When change is happening, make them feel valued. and make them feel understood, listened to, so they don't go out shopping and go to our competitors, and they want to remain in the company. Recognition, it doesn't have to be always for a salary. It an increase in salary or whatever. People are looking for be recognized in different ways, in very different ways. Maybe, giving self-education, having time, flex time. Flex time is real big. People want to have more time. And when you create empathy, when you create an environment of that certainty, you probably are more productive. And then you have more time for the relevant things, to connect, to bring the best, and give them also, bonuses on a hobby of them. I don't know. I mean, being flexible and listening to, felt listened to, is certainly a way of recognition.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's what a lot of companies still are struggling. They always say, well, Generation C and millennials, they don't want to work. It's not true. They just have different needs. And we need to start listening in, because it's magnificent to have multi-generational workforces.
Thank you so much for your time, for being here, sharing, your experience. It's a gift. So for all of our beautiful audience, the intention to connect, the act of listening, is one of probably the main two ones that I'm taking away tonight. Uh, I mean, I took plenty of notes that I'm going to go over. So thank you so much. Where can people find you? Anyone here in our audience that wants to know more about Maya, where can they find you?
Okay, you can find me actually. I don't know if you see my mail, Maya's at mayattp.com. You can find me in LinkedIn under Maya Schmid. And you can find me also Facebook and Instagram, and it's Maya's and then Schmidt all together. So I'm all there, and I would love to continue this conversation. I love bringing, I hope I brought you some little value there where I can make a difference in your leadership, in your environment where you are. And it's been such a great moment. Thank you, Paola, for bringing me on, and for letting me spread my mission, which I
Yeah.
really want to bring value to everyone.
You're so welcome. I appreciate your time and all the beautiful inspirational words that you said tonight. So I appreciate you much. Where can no, you told us where we can find you, but how can you close tonight? What's a message you want to leave us with?
Uh, I would love to tell the whole audience, including you, Paola, that you are beautiful souls, and everyone has a lot to contribute to this beautiful world. And we just need to find that golden nugget in us and diffuse it to everyone, so we can contribute to a much better world. And it's all in us. We don't go, yes, we need certifications. Yes, we need a lot. Obviously, it's a lot of work behind it in each one of us. But we have so much to contribute. And don't play small. Go out and really bring that to the world, because we are such beautiful souls.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This show can also be heard on Spanglish World Net Your Network. Please check out SpanglishWorld.ca for all news and programming Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Blessings, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.